Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
Why's your face like that?
Because my thing was slipping. Oh, you know what? This is way too high. Sorry, guys.
Oh, technical difficulties.
Take this all out because it's all rustling and shit. We back.
We back.
Guys, we had a very emotional moment before we started. I think Bede even shed a nigger tear. I don't know if she did.
Wow, why don't lie to the people?
We were just sharing how much we love each other and how if we had the penal extensions in our genitalia, we would be in a relationship probably.
Yeah. Also, you guys will be happy to learn that I have now unmuted Florence. I put her on loud from Le Twitter.
Yeah, I finished Game of Thrones. Obviously, there's going to be people that listen to this podcast that watch Game of Thrones. So.
Yeah, that watched, no, past tense,
Okay,
Game of Thrones 5 years ago when it was popping.
But no, do you know what? I'm really happy with how it ended because it meant that, I didn't have that feeling of, oh my gosh, this show I've been watching is over. It ended in a shit way and I was able to just let it go. I know you're not going to watch it, so I might as well just say this. For me, the main issues I had with the ending was one, first of all, season 8 was completely rushed, and it was shitty from season 7 anyways. How Khaleesi became the Mad Queen, it was one episode, literally a blink of an eye, and she was crazy. Cersei should have died in a much worse way. Dying in Jaime's arms under rubble was not what she deserved. I thought they were going to, gut her or some shit. And yeah, Bran being king just came out of nowhere. Yeah, I just didn't even like the way all the Stark kids separated as well. I wanted them to be together. And then Jon going out into the wilderness. Where was he going to? Guys, yeah, I have a lot. And I ended up reading 5 different blogs on this and the ending and why it was shit.
If you see her face is so, she's so into this. She really is. Really,
I can't believe.
I just unmuted you and you came to bring this to an audio medium.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, I can't believe I became one of the Dungeons and Dragons people.
And I'll never let you live it down. It's your girl BD.
It's your girl Florence, the fiance.
And we're back. And don't worry, guys, this is not a Game of Thrones podcast, thankfully.
We should do
a credits. That will be you, yourself, and you. Because I literally be like, okay, well, I'm on my way, I'm going. Because I will never.
But will you ever watch it?
No, what is the point? Now you've told me what happens.
Yeah, but you don't know who the people are or what it means.
I do, because
but to be honest, it's not your kind of show.
With the blonde hair, and the other one is the one with the less blonde hair.
A brother fucker.
Oh wait, is it? Oh, I thought you meant a brother, like a black man. I was like, it's black.
No, like her
actual brother.
Her twin.
Yeah, well, that's what they used to do back then. I don't know what you expected.
No. This is even then. It was weird.
Yeah, because they're both good looking, right?
It was weird because they're brother and sister mainly, but yeah.
No, it is, but and just the characters.
Yeah, they're both
two good-looking people that are
yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing stuff about it on the timeline back in the day, all those years ago.
Oh God.
Okay, all right. So what are we doing today?
We are doing Little White Lies.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Little White Lie.
I had to resist every urge to not message you whilst I watched this. I don't know if you had that.
Listen to me. I literally was like, this whole thing could have been over in an episode of Maury. Honestly, I literally was like this.
In the case of you are not the father, you would have seen him break dancing.
Yeah, I did enjoy the documentary though.
Yes, guys,
I really liked it.
Documentaries are, for me, it seems like it's where it's at, because one thing I will say is that I never had a moment where I was sitting there watching and thinking, oh, this didn't need to be in it, or why is it so long? When I saw the length, I was like, oh shit, here we go again with these long ass documentaries. But this one was, everything was necessary, everything was interesting. It wasn't
yeah, as much as you're the thing is that you think you kind of know where it's going, and you're right, but you still enjoy the journey, being taken through it. And it's it is very not home movie, but you could tell that the girl in it, Lacy, she is a lot of footage from her. I remember there's a bit where she mentioned she's like in a film class or something. So you can tell that she's very involved in the production of this thing. Yeah. And I really liked that. And it made sense because it's such a personal story.
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. I do think that we should explore more Amazon Prime.
Yeah, we should. And this was my favorite. This is my favorite documentary that we've done. I have to
really?
say.
Oh wow! Yeah, you're just gonna give it that title right off the bat.
No, yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really liked the way it was shot. I don't know what it was about this. I don't know.
It was very authentic.
Yeah, it was. I really liked it. I really liked it.
I would recommend watching it. Honestly, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So,
and also it's good because then you can see what the people look like, and this whole thing will make a lot more sense. So
yeah. But I'll try my best to
accurately depict
I'll
those involved.
try my best. So the documentary opens up and it's kind of like a ranch setting, and it's someone's wedding day. They're getting ready, and basically the narrator, who we don't know like who the person is, but we can hear it's a woman, says that she always kind of like dreaded getting married, but until she sorted out all the shit that was going on in her own family. So everybody's like, I was like, what's going on? So we meet Lucy, and she's our narrator, and she basically tells us that she grew up in and they do this thing when she's
Lacy,
sorry, what did I say? Lucy.
Like, I know she thought she was white, but bitch, that's a white ass name.
That white. Sorry, yeah. So she basically says she grew up in a nice traditional Jewish family with white Jewish relatives. And as she's saying this, there's basically this picture, and you can tell like it's like a bar mitzvah or something, and there are all these Jewish people. Like, you know, like they've got the skull caps and whatever, and then you can see the camera like zooming out, and basically it's just showing like white Jewish relatives, white Jewish relatives, white Jewish relatives. And then as she's saying that like she always thought she was white, it's like zooming, it's like going into her, and then basically she was like, I never knew that I was passing as white. And then you just see this random mixed race girl in this sea of like white people,
very clearly mixed race,
and it's like. Yeah.
Do you know what? It is like, okay, sis, how did you know? But then also, part of me was like, if she actually, like, she could, I think when she was younger, she looked more, like, she could have just been like, because there are some white people that have, like, frizzy curly hair, and like, they have more, like, you know, like Rachel likes to think, they have more, like, you know, like, maybe just not as small skinny noses, or their features are a bit less typically white, and they are white. Maybe somewhere down the line there's a little something, but I tried to see this from the point of view of like, what if she was really, it was difficult because I looked at her and I was like, oh, who's this random mixed race girl? Literally.
And the thing is that like I actually didn't, so we decided to do this documentary a while ago, but I didn't read, like, I didn't remember the blurb. Like, so we sent loads of different documentaries, so I couldn't remember which one this was. So actually, when I was watching it, I didn't have a clue what was going, like, I didn't remember what was going on. And then, like, right. I see this, and the first thing I think is, like, who is this mixed race girl with these white people? And how did she not know that she wasn't white?
Like, how did she find herself here?
Yeah. But we'll talk a bit about this as we go on. But the best way to describe Lacy is she looks like Alicia Keys. And I'm not just saying this because she's just...
Don't you think she looks like Alicia Keys but mixed with Aaliyah?
Yes. I was just about to say that. I'm not just saying this because, like, she's a mixed race girl and Alicia Keys is mixed race. She looks like Alicia... If Alicia Keys and Maybe had a baby, this is what she would have looked like.
And had a bit more, like, body. Because I feel like Alicia Keys' face is quite, like... Maybe I'm thinking of like back in the day. Alicia.
No.
Lacy has more. She's not. Lacy's not big, but she has like more face. She has more like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, Alicia Keys has, I think, quite. I don't know if it's chubby cheeks, but she's got cheekage.
Has she got cheekage?
I mean, she's on Instagram. So we meet Peggy, who is Lacy's mum, and she's literally a typical Jewish New Yorker. Like, she's got that Jewish coffee. Literally, she's got the Jewish New York accent. That is her. She is it. And we learned that her parents, so Lacy's parents, met at this camp. And the dad says this really weird thing. So he was like a camp supervisor. So I don't really know what that means. Mate. But from my understanding, camp supervisors are like older kids. So say you've got like a group of 14-year-olds. The camp supervisor might be like 16. Yeah. So he's the camp supervisor, and he said that he was there to to look after all these teenage girls. So that's my best. Girls.
We're not doing this any justice. Apologies to anyone from these ends.
This reminds me of the episode
of
The Office where they meet that guy that they think is from the mafia.
Oh, yeah, selling him insurance.
Yeah. But
and his name was like Grotty.
Yeah. But yeah, he says that he was like in charge of looking after all these beautiful teenage girls, and he started dating them one after the other.
One by one.
And it was
literally,
just like,
I was like,
you are
sir,
gross, sir.
Not only did you do it, but you repeated it to us.
And you said it with pride, with your chest puffed out. Literally.
Like she should be happy because you landed on her.
And then he basically says that he got to Peggy and it just stuck. So Peggy then says this thing that I found really weird. She basically goes on about how she was programmed to marry Robert. Like it was just the thing that you do. Like a nice Jewish girl marrying a nice Jewish boy. Like she felt like Robert was the path. He was the way. He was the one she was meant to be with. Yeah. And that's dangerous. And I think this is a really key point, because when I was watching the documentary, I actually had to go back and make note of like her saying this, because when I was watching the documentary at first, I kind of wanted to like get to the juicy bit, because we all know what happened. Something happened to make this girl black, and I just wanted to find out. So I was like, why are you telling me all this shit about you and like Robert? Like, I don't care. But it's kind of relevant to the story. So we now see like different kind of conversations with different relatives, and the way this documentary is filmed, it's not like some of our other documentaries where they have these talking heads. It's Lacy having interactions with different people in her family friends, and stuff like that. So all these relatives...
And they're likely talking to her. Like sometimes you don't see her in the frame, but you can tell that she's likely behind the camera and they're speaking to her.
I think it's actually really well shot, to be fair, considering it's
really
like amateur.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's like the upper end of amateur.
Yeah, literally. So all these relatives start talking about Lacy being born and how happy they were, and you know, it was such an exciting time in the family. And basically they say that they noticed she had a yellowish tinge, but they didn't think much of it.
That I'm sorry, yellowish tinge. Is she jaundiced? I don't understand. Like what?
Because I even start to think that like when black babies are born, do they have, or mixed babies are born, do they have I've never seen a mixed race baby, to be fair, but
I mean, I think that she wasn't fully white. Like, this tinge was the black in her.
But because when I thought when babies were born, like black babies were born, they're quite fair anyway. So if you're mixed race, you're going to basically look white until you're...
No, I was a dark ass baby.
Because I'm thinking of one of our friend's nieces, and that the baby to me looks like white right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wait. Can you hear the sirens? Guys, hold up, pause, yeah. I have had, I don't know what is happening in these ends, yeah, but there have been like 5 police cars, a police van, and 2, another one, 6, and 2 of these undercover AC-12 type vehicles that have gone past.
Bleep.
No, but like, what is going on? Like, what is actually going, like, even before we started recording, there was hella police cars. So I thought, okay, the time has passed, you know, criminals being got. But, like, they're still coming.
They're still being got.
Oh, Lord, strengthen me. Yeah, sorry. Back, where were we?
Yeah, so she had this yellowish tinge. And I was telling you about, like, I thought mixed race babies basically looked white until they were
I guess it depends on the baby.
I guess
my issue was with the phrasing.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, you know, she was a bit darker,
but we will get into
like a tinge, a yellow tinge. It's like that is half of her. That tinge is actually half of her.
We will get into this phrasing, because the stuff they say on this
listen to me
documentary.
Listen to me.
So they all say they never thought much of it, which you don't when a baby is born. Like, you don't. It's only like my mum said she was like shocked when she gave birth to me. Like, she kept staring and she was like, "Did this come out of me?" Because
yeah, if I was watching that picture of you as a child, I would be shocked too. Fucking hell.
For those of you who don't know, my mum is like BD's colour, so you obviously know what BD's colour is like. And then I'm like, well, you know what I'm like, and I've been like that since birth. So she was just like, "Yo, what the hell came out of me?
Did I cheat in my sleep?"
She said she asked them bare times, like, "Is this my baby?"
And I can imagine, and you imagine you just pushed out this baby, you're delirious. You say, "Wait, hold on, I'm sorry. Sorry." But the thing is that she knows that you're her baby because you have the same face.
Yeah, we do. But then also another thing that would have confused is that my dad isn't even this light. So it's a different thing if my dad was this light. But so it's like, where is this from? But apparently my great grandma was like hella, like apparently she was even lighter than me. So
imagine.
Yeah. So, anyways, as Lacy,
that's what they told this one as well. They told her that it was the great.
Fam, it's always the great something. I need to do a DNA test. It's
We'll
always
be seeing your documentary coming out soon, boy.
I didn't know I was white. How I passed as black.
How I didn't utilize white privilege I should have had my whole life.
How I had to work hard like a nigga. This just reminds me of Azalea Banks. Have you seen that thing where she's like, "Oh, you want to be a nigger?"
Yeah.
That will be the title of my documentary.
Gosh, oh Lord.
Good. So basically, she starts growing up, and she does that thing that like black babies do, where they get like less light as they like grow up. So she starts looking very mixed race. I think she was actually a beautiful kid. She was stunning,
babe. Like, I mean, she's stunning now.
Still a
but
babe.
like, that she was. I literally was like, wow.
Because I kept looking and I was like, I hope it's not light skin privilege. I was like, no, this is not light skin privilege. This girl was actually stunning. Like, and there's this picture of her when she went to Jamaica and she had braids.
Jamaica.
I was like, sis, why are you not on the runway?
And I was like, also, how did you not know at this point? Like, they even did braids for you. Like, how? Did you not know?
Did you really?
But you know what? There's so many points to get to, and I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah, let us not jump the gun.
So we'll get there, but we'll get there.
So basically, as she starts looking less white, like, people at school are like to her, sis, like, let me see your gums. And I didn't even know the gums thing was a thing, because...
Is it? Are mine darker?
Yeah.
I wish mine are a little bit darker, yeah.
Yeah, mine are pink.
Yeah, mine are a bit darker.
Yeah, I did.
But you know what I used to think when I was a kid? This is so stupid. This is so...
Say it. Just say it. Just say it.
I just want to put into context how old I was. I was in primary school. Mm-hmm. And I used to think
ranges
like,
from all different ages. Because you leave primary school
so I was in this particular school. So I must have been in year 4 or year 5 or year 6. But I reckon it was year 4 because that would be better for my dignity. So I used to think that like white people's poo was white. And like, because my poo was my colour.
Because bitches didn't drink water?
I used to think that white people's poo was white. And then there was this one time where this white girl like went to the toilet. And then like, I went in after her and then she didn't flush the toilet. And so she had done a poo and I saw it and I was like, oh my God. Like,
wait, she'd done a poo?
Yeah, she did a poo.
Okay.
And then like she left or whatever. And I saw her come out of the toilet. Well, I saw her come out of the mini stools and stuff. And so like I went in and then I saw that there was like poo remaining and I was like, oh my God, like, so her poo looks like my poo.
We're the same. Wait, so you thought the poo was white?
Yeah, I thought, because my poo is my colour.
I think it's
no, so I thought that when white people shit, it was the colour, theirs was white.
Oh. You must have fainted. Like,
I literally was like, oh my God, I remember the girl's name and everything. Like, I literally, that moment, and you know my memory is shit, but like, I remember that moment so clearly. I was like,
because your whole life changed.
So, literally, I was like, wow, so like, their poo is the same as my poo.
They shit just like me.
They shit just like me.
Oh my God. So yeah, basically people asking her to see her gums and asking her dumb shit. And she's like going back home and she's upset about it. And basically her dad pulls out this like, photo book album, whatever. Mm-hmm. And is like, yeah, look at your great-great-grandpappy. Fam,
3 generations ago.
Bro, look at your great-great-grandpappy. Like, he's Sicilian and that's why you've got the like darker skin and you tan, and then your mum.
And so what explains her hair? Anyway, some people have frizzy hair like that anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Her mum has hair like who's the woman from Rugrats? Whose mum was it that had the curly?
Oh, the orange hair.
Yeah, but it's not. Actually, it's.
No, her hair's not that. It's not that. Like that woman is like 4 serums.
But it's the same vibe, and she has the same hair, the hairstyle as well. That pointed to the side.
It's quite. Yeah, it's quite. Just let your hair do its own thing, you know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if she was like just forcing it to look like that, so they could explain why.
The hair was.
Because when she was younger, her hair didn't seem
like
that backcombed in it, literally.
So basically now she's sitting with one of her friends, and this bit angered me.
All her friends, everyone around her has bad vibes. Like, I'm sorry.
All of her non-black people in her life are bad vibes, and I feel so bad for her. Except for her mum. Except for her mum.
Wait, you feel bad for her mum?
No, her mum isn't bad vibes.
Her mum is the baddest of vibes.
Do you think? Okay, we'll dissect it after.
Okay.
So basically, one of her stupid friends says, in relation to the great-grandpappy, she says,
I just sort of believed what we were told, that somewhere, I don't know, in your family history, there was some explanation for it. You know, the picture of the sort of like Moorish looking, I don't even know what we were told he was.
So guys, when she said Moorish, she means like a Moor, like what they used to call black people in Shakespeare times, which is like racist. Like it's next to calling somebody a nigger.
But I didn't even obviously.
No, because
classics.
I had to.
You know, I know this your classics that you did that you know.
I had
that's
to
coming.
fast forward. I did two things when she said that. I rewound it and then I put on the subtitles to be sure what, and it was there. Moorish, Moorish, a Moor. Have you heard of Othello? Like, yeah, Othello. They used to call him a Moor. He was a black guy. He's the only black guy that was ever in like a Shakespeare, whatever.
Yeah, Shakespeare. Yeah,
it's next to calling like someone a nigger. And who calls a black person a Moor? How do you say
wild.
That
in this? And you know what it is? Like
you went back to ancient history to pull out a dead word to describe a black. You could have just said, "Oh, like he was darker." Like, why did you?
That's it. Just and you know what is that? All these people are like throughout this documentary. Common themes are you know it was a bit weird, but we just kind of believed it. We just kind of believed it. It's like no, you didn't fucking believe it. You were talking about her behind her back. I'm so sure of it.
Yep.
Talking about her behind her back.
We
oh, she
learned
didn't even
this
know. Blah blah
later.
blah. And it's like now you're trying to be like, oh yeah, you know, it was a bit weird, but you know, we just and it's like she must feel so isolated. Like by the end of this documentary, I literally just wanted to give her a hug and literally the black people do give her a hug because that's just what we like.
That's just what we do.
That's just what we do.
We take everybody in. But like they both laughed as well, which I was kind of like, Lacy, your white privilege is pushing all the way through. But I guess it's fight or flight for you. So
this is all she's known. This is all she's known. It's like imagine you tomorrow found out that you're white. Yeah. Like and then but to be honest, no, because the blacks we've been good to you. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Keep it pushing.
So Lacy said she didn't want to believe anything was different about her, so she would excuse things away in her head. And then she would say things like, oh, her dad got tanned in summer and her mum had curly hair. So just trying to validate her position as a white woman. Mm-hmm. And basically we see a lot of family like picked videos in this documentary, and she was just it just highlights that she was just surrounded by white people even at school. So basically it's her bar mitzvah, and she's talking about how, you know, she was at her bar mitzvah having a good time dancing, and a congregation member goes over to her mum and is like, oh, it's so nice to have an Ethiopian Jew in our presence. And Lacy's like, no, I'm white. And the mum doesn't say anything, and Lacy just speaks about how in this moment she felt so alone. Like she's just like, I am really alone in this shit, which she was. So
yeah. And also there's a little bit before that where she's kind of like in her diary, like she's like 11, and in her diary she's like writing about how she really wishes that she was lighter. And it's like
that is so sad.
It was so sad, because I'm like, first of all, you are beautiful. You are beautiful, and it's like you clearly are aware even at this stage that you look different to everybody else. Another fucking siren. Blaming heck. Wait. No, that was an emblem. It's an emblem. It's okay. So actually, is that okay if there were police and now there's ambulance going in the same direction?
No, probably somebody is hurt.
Lord. But yeah, so it's just really sad. Do you know what I mean? It's like, sis, you it's
You've been through it.
And it's like, and then you get the comment about being an Ethiopian Jew, and it's like, no, like I am white. What is this?
And it's just worse because she was gaslit her whole life, basically.
And that is literally, you could end it there.
That's what makes it worse.
Yep.
So back to Lacy's like whole life being white people. She basically says in her universe, like, race didn't exist, which is so crazy to hear a black person say. But she was like, they were all just white kids living a white kid life. Like,
I think it's amazing. She's had an experience that like is remarkable, because she has had the privilege of a white person, and also now knows the non-privilege of being a black person. I wonder if she ever misses it and thinks, oh, I wish I could just go back.
I just find it funny that she really did have white privilege. So was it that like all these people, I don't know.
Well, okay, one of the privileges I think that white people have is like you just mentioned, not having to think about race.
Okay, so
even though she was oblivious, and you know, she probably should have been thinking about race, she wasn't, because she was surrounded by people who weren't, and she didn't have to. And that is a major privilege. Like being able to just live your life and not worry about, oh, are they going to think this because I'm, or how am I going to, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's true. So basically, she, you know, she has this cushy Nerf life. Do you remember that cushy Nerf life from The Office? Okay. However, she basically goes to high school, and there was a lot more diversity because she lived in like
there were niggas.
And she said that was the first time she had any interaction with black people. That is wild. So wild, because I guess it's because I live in like London, so I'm thinking that even if you went to private school, you would have had interaction with black people, but I guess she lived in a very kind of white area.
Like, didn't anyone in your shop, like your local supermarket, wasn't anybody there black? Like, I don't know, wasn't your mailman black?
But then to be fair, they were Jewish, and Jewish people tend to like build communities of their own. Like it makes.
I guess it's true. Like when I look at myself, like the majority of the people that I interact with are black.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of that I've chosen to interact with. But then again, yes, if I go to the shop, like there's gonna be people of all. But I guess she's a child, right? She's not just going around doing things on her own issue. Yeah, that's a good point.
So she says this thing that kind of pisses me off. She basically says that like black girls would stop her and ask, "What like are you?" and you know, look at her and act like she was offending them. And the white woman was pushing out in her all the way, to be honest. I was just like, yeah, okay.
That happens a couple of times. But then, I mean, there was times where I literally was, like, looking at Lacy sideways, like, sis. But then I was like,
sideways.
Okay. Yeah, but then I was like, okay, you also have to remember that, like, she literally is just telling us her story and telling us how she felt as she felt it. And it's like, she's still a white woman at this point. Do you know what I mean? So she's still going to move in that way, and it's like she probably sees black women as intimidating, as people often do, or aggressive or whatever, and so maybe things could have been misconstrued a certain way, or she'll now feel a bit defensive, which is understandable. Like, you're questioning who I am as a person. That's quite a deep thing. Like, excuse me, I'm telling you that I'm this thing, whether you believe it or it makes sense to you or not. That is who I am to me. So, you know, I try to like kind of have some sympathy and like, kind of like give her a bly a little bit. Yeah,
but there's this whole annoying conversation about how Lacy's forced by the black girls at school to identify what she is, and then all her white friends are basically saying, like, we see them today and they're basically saying like, yeah, you looked black, but they never considered her black. So it just seems like her family's deliberately like ignoring issues at this point, and they didn't want to address it.
They are literally everything under the rug. The rug is floating. The rug is actually floating. There's so much shit under.
So whilst all of this is going on in high school, her parents get divorced, and Lacy says she feels quite alienated from her dad at this point. Like, I didn't realise she was an only child. I don't know why.
Yeah, I thought that those two boys were her brothers, but I guess maybe they're cousins.
But she was an only child.
It's because, you know why we thought that? Because they were in one of the pictures, like it was like a family picture.
Quite early on,
the parents are the two. Yeah. So I think that's why we thought that.
So, in high school, Lacy starts dating a mixed race guy, which I thought was quite interesting. I would have actually pegged her as somebody that would have only dated white guys. So, yeah, that was very interesting to me. But anyways, you know, this brings up the question of her racial identity, because people start to tell her that they look like brother and sister when they would go out. And he was I think he was good for her at the time, because basically...
Oh, definitely.
He was like to her... It was clear from being around your family that there was a secret. So he kept pushing her to think about her race, because it kind of was something that Lacy had locked away and put into a box. But
and also, I think that he was the right person to do it, because some random black girl that you've never met that's been like, what are you?
Yeah.
You're going to have your defenses up. This is someone that I know, that I trust, that I know cares about me. So, like, if he's asking me to think about these things, maybe I should actually think about these things.
Yeah. And he really
And it's so cool. It's so cute that they're friends now, still.
No, that was cute. I can't really describe what he looks like. There's no one I could...
He just looks like a mixed race guy.
Yeah, with green eyes. She sends her... So basically, it's time for college application, basically. And she says she doesn't tick a race box because she doesn't know what she is. And this is another thing I like about the documentary. Almost like it follows her through the times. Like, we've done...
Which is why it's amazing that she literally filmed everything. Like, everything is filmed.
Yeah. And basically, she doesn't tick a box. But what she does do is she sends a photo with her college application, and they place her as black. So she said that for her, that was the moment that she could really come out and say, like...
Sorry, sirens.
That was the moment she could really come out and acknowledge the fact that she was black. Like, Georgetown had done it for her. It had told her that you are black.
Like, it's okay for me to be, to think this way.
Because all this other time... And I'm just thinking about all the doctor's appointments and all the, like... other things where she had ticked that white box, and then she'd show up and they would be like, ma'am? Like, I literally wonder.
No, my first thought was like, what does she use to cream her body after she has a shower? Or like, what does she use for her hair? Because there's so many like black, like things that black families do, or that black people, like, you know, there's just this, like, I could have never met a black person. Okay, if you're even at work, like, I could have never met this black person, but like, just by the very like fact that you're black, there are so many things that we have in common, and not just the color of our skin, but it's just the way that we do things. Certain things I just know you're gonna get, like certain things that you just understand, like certain things I just don't have to explain because you just get it, because it just is. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it sometimes, like when you meet like another black person, it just feels like home. It literally is just like,
I can
exhale.
be me.
Yeah, like you just get it. Like, do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can say, oh, Chile, and you just get, like, I can just do all these different things and you just understand it. You just get it. You don't have to feel like you're, you know, second guessing what you're doing, what you're saying, blah, blah, blah. And I just think that, like, that must have been, and I think that's kind of what she felt
When she went to uni, yeah. Because when she gets to uni, basically, they then invite her to join like the Black Student Alliance, and then she basically says like uni felt like a crash course to race as a white person, because that's what it was for her. She'd lived her whole life as a white person. Now she discovered that she was black, and she was learning about what it meant to be black. She was learning about white privilege. She was learning about kind of racism and feeling oppressed. But then she says this problematic thing, and she says,
as it turned out, hanging out with black people put a lot of my insecurities to rest. The dark skin I always worried about was light skin to them, and my bad hair became good hair.
and it's like, sis, this isn't what you think. It's not given what you think it's given.
Yeah, it's not given what it was supposed to have gave. Like, I literally saw this bit and I was like, I don't think she meant it in a mean way.
Yeah.
But it definitely rubbed me the wrong way.
And this for me is very indicative of, it sounds like a white person that's just learning about race. That's how she came across in a lot of the documentary, which I guess made sense because she was she was discovering herself and her racial identity. But she has a lot to learn, because you can't say that.
Basically, you're saying all the things that made me ugly around the whites are making me pretty, because it's like, oh, I was the darkest around the white, but now I'm the light skin is the right skin. Oh, now my 3C curls are great because, oh, thank God it's not 4C hair. Like, I literally was looking at it and I was like, sis, like,
It's
I know
not given.
that maybe you didn't mean to say this, but this is what you said. You're like, oh, now that I'm around the niggas, I'm the pretty one.
And it's just like, black people are not there to validate your like light skin privilege in society. Like, that's not the job of like black women or like.
It's like, oh, at least it's not that bad. At least I'm not that dark.
Yeah, at least I'm not a nigger. Like I'm a nigger, but not a nigger.
Like that bit just made me. I was like, sis, like we were trying, we were getting there. I'm really struggling to hold on to you now, sis. I really want to.
Did she not like show this documentary to any of her black friends though? Because I would have been like, first of all, take that shit out about them all, but then, you know, actually leave that in, let people know what that person is.
And so this is what I'm saying, is that like, this is a good documentary. It's very authentic. It's very honest. Like, she didn't make this to skew our minds or to make us think a certain way. She literally was like, this is the story as it happened. This is how I felt at the time. This is what I said at the time. This is what it is. And it's like you said, like, she literally is learning. Like, this is a journey for her. She's white and she's becoming black. So it's like, it's gonna take some time.
This is what Rachel Dolezal thinks she's given.
Rachel would have begged for her mum to have cheated. Rachel would have begged.
So she does this really weird thing at this point where, instead of like raising with a family that, oh, she's black, she goes to therapy. And don't get it twisted, like, I understand that, like, you're going to go to therapy because there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, but then your family they still consider you white. So it's not like you've acknowledged the issue and then you're healing from that process. You within yourself have just decided you're black, and now you're going to...
Yeah, no, but I think she has to reconcile with... I understand why she did it this way, because it's kind of like, okay, right, this is fucked up, okay? Before I can go and confront my mother about what it is that she's done, let me...
But what if she had done a magic ancestry test and they'd be like, oh, actually, you're fully white? Like,
but she's not, but she's not. Georgetown told her she's black, so she's black. Okay? God damn
they
it.
said that shit.
God damn it. But yeah, obviously it was obvious, man. And I think she's just like, look, let me just come to... Because if she's not in the right space of mind, how is she even going to have that conversation with her mum?
Yeah.
And it's like, she had to have the conversation. I'm sure that if I was a mum and I cheated on my husband and had like a mixed race baby, yeah, and I was trying to tell that baby that they were black, yeah, I reckon that I would not be trying to have that conversation with my child.
Yeah.
I would do anything to avoid it. And so it was really good that Lacy kind of prepared herself. It's like you train before you run a marathon. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think she was just getting her mind right. Maybe she can go therapy after as well to deal with the fallout. But
for now,
I get why she did it that way. Yeah.
So basically, during these sessions, she just says she feels like she was an outsider in her own life, which makes sense because it's like all this stuff is going on, all this stuff has happened about you, but you are not even aware of what is going on.
Yeah, and it's also the whole, like, everyone just laughing behind your back and looking at you like a dickhead. Like, it's one thing if, like, your man cheats on you. It's another thing if, like, he cheats on you and everybody knows but you.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel, like, more of a dickhead.
Yeah, and that's how it feels like here. So basically, after freshman year, she confronts her mum. And her mum basically tells her she had an affair with Rodney, and he's likely her father. So
and Rodney's like her friend. Like, he's been in her life this whole time.
Basically, Rodney's
he's her mum's friend.
Yeah, he's her mum's friend. Been in her life, her whole life. She's known him basically, and she saw him as like a ticket scouter, like anyone who needed. And the mum was messy. The mum was a messy bitch because everyone in the family and all the family friends knew this Rodney and interacted with him. If they were going to the city, they'd hit him up and be like, "Oh, Rodney, like, get us tickets." Meanwhile, this woman was like throwing it back for him.
She been
throwing it back. Damn. So I randomly just said that one thing I will say about all the black people in this documentary is that they were actually beautiful. Like, I was in awe. Even like her friends from college that we interacted, they were all stunning.
All of them, yeah.
Rodney too, like in his prime, he was giving.
Rodney's a babe.
Yeah.
But Lacy looks she didn't have the same face.
I think she looks like her mum, but I didn't see Rodney's face.
She looks like her mum mixed with Rodney.
Rodney's in there. But you know what? This is why the ancestors live strong, because basically Rodney looks like a mixed race guy.
I said Rodney.
Rodney, your mama, is she white? Like, Rodney looks mixed race. So ideally, Lacy should have come out looking like Sophia Richie. But the ancestors were like, "Oh, you finna cheat, huh? We finna like, come out with all our power, all the strength of the Black Panther." It came out. She has actually, that's a really good point. And those full lips.
She is a beautiful black babe.
Fam, but that's not when I was watching.
Can we have this discussion? Sorry, go on.
No, because when I was watching it and I saw Rodney, because at first, you know, when they first showed Rodney, they showed two guys. There was like a black guy next to him. So I was like, "Oh, that must be Rodney," because Lacy looks half black. But it was like, no, it's a mixed race guy, but she's still finna come out looking black.
Yeah. There's a bit, where they have this conversation. I think it's when she's in college with like the blacks, and they're talking about like, you know, the 1-drop rule and like being black and everything, blah blah blah. And it's like, it's widely known that it's kind of like, oh, your mum's black, your dad's white, okay, so you're black, that kind of thing. And like I mean I do that all the time. It's like, yeah, this person's black, whatever. But I do, like, more recently, like, I've been like, what if, like, is it erasing the other part of you that is not black to just be like, oh, I'm black, and not to say you're biracial? Like, I think it's very valid to say I'm biracial. Yeah. Like, I am black and I am also white. Like, that is perfectly fine. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, not to say, I mean, you're black, okay, cool. But like, it's also, it's fair to say that you are biracial. Like, you don't have to pick one or the other, because half of your family is that and half of you is, do you know what I mean? And that's like a category within itself.
I agree. And I feel like for me, I identify people how they like present themselves. Like, because I remember J. Cole saying that, like, like, he's mixed race. Even though to me, J. Cole doesn't look like, if I saw J. Cole, I wouldn't think that's a mixed race guy. I'd think he's like a light-skinned dark guy, black guy. Yeah, maybe it's because he has dreads now, so you don't see the like curly whatever.
Also, Justin Bieber also mixed race. Is that the qualification?
R&B, baby.
R&B,
No, he needs to cut that shit off ASAP. Like,
don't worry, he doesn't have to. They're gonna fall off.
Fam, it is terrible. No, but I remember J. Cole saying that he identifies as black because the world treats him like he's black, and I feel like that's what a lot of mixed race people feel, which is why they identify as black, because,
which is fine.
Yeah, but if you want to, I think you should be allowed to identify as biracial. Exactly,
that's what I'm saying.
I definitely think. I remember.
I think it's not anything that we should be offended by. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, because I think sometimes people say it and it's like, oh, you're not an like, no.
Exactly, when they say that they're mixed race, it's like, but what? So you're not black? It's like, listen, it's like if how can you just say one of your parents is not relevant? That's basically what you're saying.
But
like,
some girl did do a video where she was talking about how like black men hold black women to different standards.
Oh, she said her mum's ugly.
Yeah, and child, that mum. But anyways, she basically was like, I'm not a black woman. I'm biracial. Like I identify, and I was like, yeah, like that's fair enough. Like she obviously has beef with her mum.
People say,
but she still.
And this is the thing is because then when you do that, you also run the risk of like, so you're casting for a black actor, and then a biracial actor will get the part because of course they can also identify as just black, right?
Never forget
and
that
it's like,
movie, Jump in the Broom.
What movie?
I don't know if you've watched that movie where it had
with Paula Patton.
And then her parents were Lynn Whitfield and like some black guy, and it's just like, why do they always like Claire from My Earth and Kids?
Yeah,
like, so we're just gonna not notice this random mixed race kid in the.
In the black. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, with black jeans, it's all a bit funny because who knows? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true, but it's not that funny. I mean, actually,
it's not always funny. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. It's not every single role. It's not every single family that's gonna have a random light skinned nigga in there.
Fam, it's not by force. That's one thing about Tyler Perry. He finna cast an all black cast, and he finna watch it.
And he finna write it and produce it and direct it and edit it and upload it.
And we're addressing it.
Literally. Hair, makeup.
Every woman.
Tyler, employ somebody.
Employ. Create jobs.
Written by, directed by, moved by.
Literally, the end credits is just Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry.
Medea. There's no credit. It doesn't even roll. It literally just Tyler Perry for 10 minutes.
Everything is Tyler Perry. Sorry, Tyler Perry. It's this. Oh my god, yeah.
I've never seen. What is it? Is it narcissism? What is it called?
I don't know what his problem is.
It's a disorder.
People said that after that wig in what's that movie that he hates black women? What's that name of that movie?
Oh yeah. I know the Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
No, not that one. There's one where like, oh guys, you guys know the one on Netflix. It's a black movie where.
Oh, is it a recent one?
Yeah. And the wig was she was in prison and the wig was
Fall from Grace.
Yes. Tyler, they will lock you up. You need to stop.
There was even one other movie. What movie was it? I think it's one with Taraji. And basically, I didn't watch it. I remember people talking about basically like she wasn't on the boat and then she got on the boat and she wasn't wet and they were like, wait, how did she get on the boat?
No, literally, nah. Some of Tyler's, other than Medea, some of his movies are very. No, but wait, isn't For Coloured Girls one of his?
I don't know. Maybe they're not all shit.
No, they're not all shit.
The majority of them are.
Yeah, it's recently. It feels like
he just thinks quality, not quantity. Yeah. And I'm like, sir, like you have to delegate. A good leader delegates because you cannot spend all your life doing everything and doing nothing well. Like
let them roll the credits just once.
Just once. Can we have some other names? Can we?
Oh my god. Okay, so
Tyler.
Yeah, basically this is Rodney's kids. And then we see all these different like family members, and they basically said that they asked their mom like if she'd had an affair with like Rodney, and they were all saying like like they knew that Lacy looked like Rodney, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like what the actual fuck?
And that would piss me off even more. It's like you man didn't even like you didn't even have one good cousin that was like, sis, I think that you should.
Sis, I think this your daddy. If it's me, I'll be that cousin. I'll be like, sis, that's your daddy.
Yeah.
Because Rodney was coming to dinner.
Rodney was around.
He was about.
Like, this was so messy because it's like, you just do your dirt and just do the dirt. Like, why are you...
Yeah, but if a man's going to let you do that dirt, like, would you not take...
And then she was like, when she would go, they would see him, like, bump into him, apparently. But really, she would message Rodney. And this was not in WhatsApp days. So she would probably have to call him on the house phone and be like, we're going to be at this place at 2:04. So
be there or be square.
And then she would see him and be like, oh my God, look, there's Rodney. As if they just bumped into him. Like, oh God.
So basically...
The mum.
So basically, she said that she kept the black part of herself under wraps after all this conversation had happened because she hadn't even spoken to her dad. So to her like family, she was a nice white Jewish girl. But, you know, to her friends at school, she was like a black girl. And she felt she couldn't talk to her dad because it would break his like heart, basically, because she was evidence that her mother had strayed, which is so much. It's so loaded.
Yeah. And it's not your fault. You didn't even ask to be here. And you're here.
You're here and
like,
you're dealing with all these people's shit. So
yeah, exactly.
She tries to get to know Rodney, but yeah, it doesn't really gel. She meets his kids. He has 7 other kids by different women,
Yeah, he has hella
which
kids.
I just wish he didn't, because it's just
Yeah, I was like, Rodney. Why you got to just do up stereotype?
Yeah, but said she felt no connection with his kids. There's one sister we see that she has, but like, yeah, she doesn't really look like her sister. Just another mixed race girl. Yeah. So basically, Rodney dies and we go to his funeral and we see his body, which was really unnecessary.
Yeah, open casket. I was like, why? And also, how did you get permission to like film?
Fam.
Like, this man is your father, but like you just about found out that he was your father. Like,
literally, why are you filming all of this?
He's been your father
shit?
For like a month, and like now you're coming to film his dead body. Like,
fam,
it was just very unnecessary. Yeah.
So Lacy's white fam. This is a really weird scene because Lacy's white family also goes to the funeral.
And also, her mum goes to the funeral, and
her mum is wailing.
Her life just died. Literally,
her mum. I personally, for me, I feel like Rodney was the love of her life. I do feel like she loved Rodney, like, and I feel like that affair went on for years. I don't think it stopped.
She was with him before she was with the dad.
Fam, we'll get into that. But yeah, basically, like, the white family goes to the funeral. So the mum, like her uncles, and like a family friend, and they announce Lacy as one of his daughters. But all now, nobody has had a conversation with Lacy from her white family to say
exactly.
So it's just so like, weird, actually. It's so weird because it's like, it's weird. It's
like you people. So literally, like they announced it, and then like, everyone's just like, no one's saying anything, and it's
so
like,
they all knew.
So literally, it's like you guys all either knew, you definitely suspected at the very least. Yeah, it's been confirmed. There's no one looks shocked. No one. I was like, what kind? I would hate to be in this kind of family where secrets run this deep and no one will say.
No one will say anything
because it's like, there's no way in a black family, that someone won't drink too much and someone will be like, oh yeah, but what about the time that.
Fam.
There's no way. She would have known by now. She would have been known by now.
Been known. Have you not watched the Tyler Perry movie? Black people cannot keep secrets. So there's this montage.
Nor should they? And this is not a secret that should be kept.
Yeah, it's true. There's this montage and basically they're all talking to these white family members and she's talking to these white family members and they're all saying basically that they don't see race as they think of the... And this scene is just indicative of the crisis. Because this is what white allyism, if that's the word, looks like. It's this thing where it's like, I'm not racist, I don't see race, you're just another human being to me.
They're like, you're my cousin, you're Lacy. It's like, okay, I'm Lacy and I'm black.
And I'm black. And that blackness means something.
Exactly, in this world.
So can we acknowledge it?
I don't see, and this is what I'm saying. This is what I was saying earlier about the privilege. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I don't see race. Like Lacy also didn't have to see race until she clocked that she was black, and now race is all that she can see. And you're telling me that you don't see race, so you don't see me, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, basically,
what the fuck?
Exactly. Literally,
it's
or you just see the parts of me that are, and when people say they don't see race, what I take from that is you only see the parts of me that are convenient for you. Like talking about race is uncomfortable, it's not easy for you, so you don't want to talk about it, so you're only going to see the parts of me that fit into your box. Anything outside of that that's going to make you uncomfortable, you don't want to see.
You don't see it.
And this is literally what white allyism looks like it, well, not all white, like there's some white allies that understand and they have the conversation, so I'm not going to put everybody in a box, but for a lot of them, this is how it looks. They just think I'm not racist, I don't see race, so therefore like I've done my bit for society. No, Karen, you haven't.
And it's like, no, you should see race and it shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
that's the point.
Exactly.
I'm colourblind, my nigga.
Nobody else should be colourblind. See the colours.
I am black, and because of that this thing could happen, or this thing has happened, or this thing doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And so if you do not see that I am black, then how can you then like connect me being black to
with the issues?
Things?
Yep.
So it doesn't make any sense. Just say you don't want to see it. Just say that then.
Just say that. It'll be easier to swallow. So finally, Lacy decides to have a conversation with her dad and confront the race issue. And this is like the worst thing I've ever seen. So you can basically...
I just want us to hug Lacy, man.
Fam, you can basically see that Lacy is struggling to tell him. So long story short, she basically says to him, yeah, like, I've been wanting to tell you that, like, I'm a black woman. Basically, which is kind of funny.
Was really weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
I was like, is this...
I would have opened up with, like, yeah, like, you're not my dad, but I still love you. But it was like, yeah, like...
I would have been like, look, I found out that you're not my dad.
And, yeah.
And my dad is a black guy.
Yeah, but she's like, I'm a black woman. And then he says...
Well, you didn't have to.
And the reason
I see the books you read, I see the relationships you have, I see the music you like, I see the entertainment realm that appeals to you. Okay. What else is new? I knew that.
And there's
so
so
dismissive.
many layers. There's
listen.
there's this him
There's
being
the
dismissive.
dismissal. Yeah.
And then
There's
race. And there was a lot of disdain in the way he
Disdain.
said it. And he also said it in a way that I can't explain it. The tone to me was very like if someone says, I see the music you like, I see, because
It was disdain. It was like, ugh.
it was
like,
disgust.
I see you listen to all that nigga music.
That nigga,
like,
literally that rap
I just
shit.
knew
You date all those
these black guys.
black
you're
guys.
just
It's like
it
that-
literally was like, and that's how I know that like he really did feel he was her dad, because it literally was like a Jewish dad speaking to his Jewish daughter like, oh my god, I can't believe you married that nigga. And I think that there's so many racial undertones under this whole thing.
Yep.
This whole thing, the fact that Rodney was a black guy, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they try and say that, you know, that's not an issue, that's not what it is. Liza Minnelli lies. Like, it literally is
The issue.
like,
it is the
literally
issue.
is. It is the primary issue. Obviously, you know, indiscretions and cheating and shit. But literally, because it's like, the way he said it literally is disgust. Like, he literally was like, ugh, like...
And this is the thing, like, because... yeah, I just don't know what to say. And because he will look at himself and he'll be like, I'm not racist. Like, I raised a black daughter and I knew she wasn't even mine. But it's
Ooh,
the
brownie
way...
points.
Fam, yeah.
That conversation, it was so... Like, literally in my head, as he was saying, I was like, wow, didn't Matt dismiss it? And then Lacey was like, yeah, I felt really dismissed. And
yeah,
then
and she was like, she said she felt shame. And I was like, I understand that. Because the way he made it sound like the way she was living her life was a thing of shame. I see the books you read. I see the entertainment. What the fuck is an entertainment realm?
Yeah, literally.
Now I'm thinking she was really
MTV.
just sat there watching Tyler Perry movies. Like,
No, it was MTV. It's in 106 and Park. He saw more than 2 black people on the screen at once.
He was like, oh, she gone for good.
Goodness.
So we learned that Peggy had been cheating with Rodney from time. Basically, since she was engaged, she's been cheating with him.
Before they got married.
Yeah, before they got married.
She probably had sex with Rodney before she
Her
had sex
husband.
with...
Yeah. And the dad knew, but it was something they never discussed. And basically, we know that he knew because there was a day when Rodney's wife attacked Peggy.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot about this bit.
That was... Fab, if that is not...
With a razor. Like with a
you-
razor.
If that is not telling you need to stop, I don't know what is a sign. Like, fam, if my boyfriend's wife attacks me, my boyfriend doesn't have a wife, but yeah, if that was the scenario I was in.
I mean, you also don't have a boyfriend, you have a fiance.
Yeah, I have a fiance. But if my boyfriend's wife attacked me, that would be all the sign I need. You know when you pray to God to give you a sign, okay, and there's some signs you can ignore. That is not one of them.
She still has the scar. She literally was like, oh yeah, look. So every time you look at your hand, this is... Because she went to slash her face, and so she kind of defended herself with her hand.
Imagine if she slashed your face.
Well, that way you look in the mirror every day and say, I'm an adulteress. I'm an adulteress.
I'm a Jezebel.
Jezzy!
So that's when the dad knew for sure that Peggy was cheating, and he basically said to her, let's just leave all this in the past and go about our business. And you know what, I just get the vibe that Robert is the kind of guy who really wanted his marriage to work. He was willing to do anything to make it work, till it got too much. I have a feeling that there was a lot more to it than we found out. I think so. Peggy became quite sloppy or frivolous in her cheating, and that was when he couldn't take it.
And also, part of me kind of thinks that like maybe there was a bit of like infertility, I don't know, because it's like they were together for ages. Yeah,
I mean, never had another kid.
Because it was 1968 that she started, well, fucking both of them really, and then Lacy was born in like 1977 or something like that, so there was bare time where like she could have been pregnant, and then Lacy was their only child, so literally Robert's got to deal with, I mean, he's still a dickhead, but Robert's got to deal with the fact that like he actually he hasn't like sired a child, like he doesn't have a child.
I was thinking about that, you know, sometimes because
he doesn't have a child.
There was this phone call he had with her, basically, where he left a message on her phone and he was like, yeah, I've been thinking about that conversation we had and I'm just not in the right place right now. I've got a lot of stress. I feel like he's extremely depressed from the stuff that's happened. And part of that stuff would definitely have been the fact that, like, you don't actually have a kid. Like, he obviously wanted a kid because he loved Lacy and raised her. So you actually don't have a kid. Your legacy on this earth isn't even... like biologically yours.
What you thought it wasn't. And now you're old, so like you actually, I mean, I guess you could have a kid if you wanted to, but like
but
now,
I think there's
like,
impotence.
you don't. Yeah, and then there's also like it's just there's so many layers of betrayal. So as much as I think her dad was a dickhead during that conversation, it's like if we look at him and his situation and everything he's gone through, fell in love with this woman, he stopped hoeing for this woman, and then she marries him and then cheats
tirelessly
throughout the whole relationship, the whole marriage.
I think she was even still fucking Rodney after they split up.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Because the
bitch was crying at that funeral.
Yeah.
Sis,
I was like, this is recent dick. This is not back in the day dick.
That's like me crying for Beep in the next 20 years. You know who that is.
And I know. I am finished.
So basically, like, Lacy's like, yeah, like, why didn't you just go off with Rodney? Like, since you got your fancy degree
Did
and
you
know
love him
everything.
so much?
Yeah. And then Peggy's like, yeah, save my husband because he had coin. And Rodney was just sexual, like, you know, Robert was stable and blah, blah, blah. And then she basically says to her mum, so it really had nothing to do with him being black. And then the mum starts crying and she's like, no, it didn't. And so, yes, it did.
What's what racists will do, bruv? They'll cry.
Fam, I was like, yes, it had everything to do with him being black. Because you knew that, like, a good white Jewish girl is not going to run off with a black guy. Like,
and he wasn't a broke nigga. Like, we learned that he's not actually like a broke guy. Like, he literally was doing all right for himself.
He was actually doing all right. So he could have taken care of her. But also, he seemed a bit like a player P. So...
He had 7 kids by
multiple baby mothers. So,
like, if he wasn't cheating with her, he would have been cheating on her. So I think she did the right thing.
So literally, her husband was the stable option, but then you should have stayed with your husband and made it work. Not still been letting Rodney tap that ass.
Oh, God, this just...
So we're reaching the end, and basically
and Peggy was like, sorry, I'm still not done with this bitch yet. Peggy was like, oh, like, basically what she says, this is not verbatim, but basically what she said was like, oh, if I didn't fuck a black guy, none of this would have come out. So she doesn't even regret what she did.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, it's only because Rodney was black that everyone's... She was like, oh, if I was with a white guy, nobody would even know.
But this is why you have to
carry
cheat.
that to the grave.
Literally, this is why you have to cheat with sense, though. Like, if I was going to cheat, which I wouldn't, hun, babes, I know you're listening, love you, okay? It's all yours, only yours.
Stop listening now.
Stop listening. If I was to cheat, I would never cheat with a white guy. Because...
the risk is too much. Or
an Asian person. Like, I would cheat with...
It would have to be a black person.
Literally a black person.
It'd have to be the person who matches the person that I'm cheating on.
Literally.
Whatever their race is.
And
it has
like
to match.
like I said, though, Peggy is just lucky that... Oh, yeah, by the way, guys, I wouldn't cheat with any of those other races solely because if we had a kid, it wouldn't look like nothing to do with... me being racist.
We're basically trying to avoid the story that is happening.
Yeah, we're talking about...
And that's why I said, so if you're with a white guy, you would cheat with a white guy.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But basically, this is why I say I feel... Not sorry, but this is why Peggy drew like the short straw, because literally the strength of the ancestors came through like the Black Panther, because Lacy shouldn't have looked the way she looked. But they said, we're going to show you Pepper. Literally. Because Rodney was mixed. She should have been looking like Sophia Richie. Like, I've said this multiple times. That's actually what she should have looked like.
And she could have actually gotten away with it.
And she could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling jeans.
Oh, my goodness. You need to get out of my head.
You will never understand.
You need to get out of my head.
You don't have this in your life. But yeah, we're reaching the end, and basically, like, Lacy's and her dad have this conversation, and her dad's basically saying, like, he didn't know that Lacy wasn't his till she was 16. I was like, nigga, you lying. Literally, you lying.
But I think when he says he didn't know, I think it's like it wasn't confirmed. So
but
maybe,
fam,
like,
you could see it.
Yeah, we all knew, bruv. We all knew even from the trailer. We knew.
Yeah, and her mum says this thing now. We're literally like towards the end. Her mum says this thing basically about, because Lacy's also gone through this whole thing about struggling with what her parents did to her and having to deal with their shit because obviously they divorced because of this lie and her kind of taking on. But her mum says this thing which I really liked her, and she was like, before I was your mother, I was a person. I was a girl. I was a woman. I was me. And that's the most honest explanation. And I think it is such an important thing. As I am like...
I love that
bit. As the two of us are entering motherhood, I've been thinking a lot...
Wait. entering. Wait, I'm sorry. I haven't even programmed it into my sat nav. We're talking about entering.
We are. We're in the arena. As we're entering that arena of motherhood, I've been thinking a lot about this stuff, and it's like, I actually think to myself, I'm like, whoa. Like, in the next 5 years, I'm likely to be a mum, by God's grace. And I do not think I'm going to be any much more, like, mature or have all my shit together than I do now.
I'm not going to be any less me.
Literally, I probably will have my finances, more money, by God's grace, but I'm still going to be me, which means I'm still going to make mistakes. And my kids have to accept me and understand me for that. And that's just the fact that Peggy... I don't know if she made a mistake because she was very conscious in doing this for years. But
Peggy didn't make mistakes. Peggy made choices, yeah? And they were the wrong ones.
She made the wrong mistakes.
She knew exactly what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing. But either way...
It's like when you're in the club and you're like, I don't need to have this
next
shot.
drink.
But you have it.
You have it.
And you know it's not going to end well.
But you have
do it regardless.
Literally.
That's not a mistake. That's a choice.
So Peggy made these wrong choices, and either way though, she's a human being and we all make wrong choices, and it's literally
we just
that
don't always get caught.
Yeah. So
no, I really did appreciate, that's one thing that Peggy said.
Peg said that,
that I respected, because I have this thought with myself all the time, and I always have this feeling where it's like, there's a limited amount of time in your life as a woman where you are just who you are. Because I remember when I graduated, each time I was like, I'm so elated at this graduation because this is one of the only things I can achieve as a woman that is not tied to anybody else. And when you get married, a man chose you to be their wife. When you have a kid, you popped out some babies, your vagina is never going to be the same. But it's like, now you're a mother, you're this person's mother, you're this person's wife.
Yeah.
Like
you lose your individuality.
You lose your individuality, and then you just become your role. Do you know what I mean? You just become the mum, you just become the wife. And it's like, I cannot see myself being any less me just because I got married or just because I have a kid. Like, I really want my children to understand that, like, yeah, babes, I love you and that, and it's mad cool, but like,
I'm me.
I am me, and I am a woman first. Like, I was me before you came along. Like, I've been me a whole lot of years before I had you. And that doesn't just change. Do you know what I mean?
There.
Yeah, like, so I respect it. Obviously, I don't, think that she, was right in what she did, but I get it, where it's kind of like, look, I've been a bad bitch longer than I've been your mum, so like, I'm going to continue to be a bad bitch. Exactly. I mean, obviously this doesn't excuse the infidelity and whatnot,
but she's a human.
But like, she's human, she's a woman, like, she can do these things, and we should be a bit more forgiving. So basically at Lacy's wedding now, and like, surprisingly, she married a black guy, and like a full black guy. I don't know why I was so surprised by this. I was overjoyed.
No, I was happy, but I was surprised because she spent her whole life around white people, so I just thought she'd be...
No, I wasn't actually surprised, because there's just something about when you find your own, you're like,
Yeah, and she did say that in the documentary. So it was like a Jewish wedding with black elements.
It was actually really nice. I'm so glad that she kind of upheld that culture. Yeah. And they did the thing where you step on the... Do you know what? I've actually been to a Jewish wedding before. It's so random. It was like this Jewish guy who married this... I think she was from Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan woman. And they did the glass thing. For some reason, I was a flower girl. It was very random. Like, it was in Scotland as well. It was just so many random elements.
This is random.
Yeah, it's so random. I was like 8, maybe 9. I don't know. It was ages ago. And I remember being really close to like where they, they step on the glass. And I remember being like, oh my goodness. But yeah. So,
but yeah, are they still together?
I've no idea. I don't remember their names.
You were literally at their wedding, a bridesmaid.
Yeah, as a child, they went to my church. I think my parents were friends with them. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask my dad.
They literally have pictures of you on the mantelpiece, and you don't know them.
Probably. I'll sign it for them one day.
So, Jewish wedding with black elements. It was lovely. She just does this whole thing about how she's not changing her name because Schwartz means black in...
I thought that because her name is Lacy Schwartz, and I was like, Schwartz literally means black, and this whole documentary is you finding out that you're black.
Yeah, and she's like it suits her perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's in German.
I was like, that's cute. So yeah, obviously as per usual, I googled her. She's still very much with him. He's a Democratic Republican. What? He's a Democratic politician.
Oh my God, he did give me politician vibes.
Yeah, he did. He was politicking.
He did give politician vibes.
Yep. They're still very much together. They have 2 kids, which I believe are his. Yeah, that's Lacy.
Generational curse.
So tight.
That is cute.
That documentary.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really like her as well.
Yeah,
like,
I really do.
Like,
I've forgiven her for all her
literally,
Karen
I've forgiven
vibes.
her for the problematic things that she said. It's not her fault. She was a baby black, but now she's a full-grown black.
And she's very much black. If you go on her Instagram, like, she's very black. So, yeah.
I'm glad. It's just, it's like
and I'm so happy that her
herself.
husband is a Democrat, because I was so scared that he'd be Republican.
When you said Republican, I said, he what?
Democratic Republican.
He who?
He what? But guys, I actually would recommend that you watch this one. We did it justice, but there's more justice to be done, and if there's any justice in the world, you would watch this documentary.
I would be your man and you would be my girl. I think that what do I think? I don't even think anything. What I was going to say was, I think what we should start doing is posting in advance the documentary that we're going to cover. Obviously, we say it on here, but you're probably like driving or walking or doing something while you listen. So then if you go on our Instagram,
you can
at 2 Girls 1 Doc, then you can just see what it is exactly. So you can watch it in advance, and then you can kind of imagine what it is. Like, you can see the people and stuff like that.
And we'll make sure to tell you, like, at the end of each episode, if we think you should watch it, if you haven't already. Because sometimes, sometimes it's not worth the watch. Yeah, and we'll just tell you, like, listen, we've done a good enough job.
Listen, save your time. But this was a really good one to watch, and I want her to get the views. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it made me feel all the things I need. I went through such a plethora of emotions while watching this thing.
And I was like on the edge, like, who's a baby daddy? So it was good.
Honestly,
what are we doing next?
I think it's called Because We Are Girls. I think it's called Because We Are Girls. It's another Amazon one. I think it's going to be about men being trash. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Like Foren said, we kind of discussed what we were going to do a few weeks ago, so I will find and play the trailer for you guys to remind yourself and also myself of what the documentary is going to be about. In the meantime, between time, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok at 2 Girls 1 Doc, but for the TikTok there's an underscore either at the beginning or at the end, I'm not sure. I am on Instagram at BD on Eyewear and also bdoneyewear.com. And you are on Instagram and Twitter, unmuted by me, at 4 ends with two underscores. Yeah. And also on your other podcast, Character Replay.
And also at the... Okay.
At the altar.
At the altar. In a year.
I'm quite excited. Oh my gosh, so I got my bridesmaid's dress for Vicky's wedding.
I was going to say, I have not picked a colour.
It looks so good.
Oh, like,
amazing. I was a bit skeptical. I'm not gonna lie. I've said this to her, Vicky. I know you're listening. I was a bit skeptical when I saw the picture. I was a bit like, oh, don't know how this is gonna go down on my physique. But when I put it on, my body said yes.
Have I seen this dress?
No, I'm gonna send you a picture. Well, I need to put it back on again. Oh, that's long. Anyway, next time I wear it, I'll take a picture.
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy you like it.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice. It looks really nice. I have to get it tailored because, you know, I'm not the tallest of folks, although I am above average height.
Yeah, guys, so thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week.
All right, guys, the trailer's coming.
Bye.
Bye.
Our family was your typical Punjabi family. We kept to ourselves, but we're always up to celebrate an occasion with singing and dancing and eventually drama. When I was 11, that man came into our house. We were told, this is your brother, you respect him, and we gave him that respect. I was raped at 11 years old. Someone my parents trusted. I decided to come out because I witnessed something that this person is still active in abusing girls. And then my world shattered.
My parents didn't suggest us going to the police. That was a step that we had to take on our own.
We were small, tiny children who didn't have any exposure to any of this.
We had each other. That's how we got through our childhood. Even now.
Only 1% of women make it to where we've made it.